Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from BoardGameCo, and welcome to the News and Week in Review, where we're going to cover a variety of news pieces, the creator spotlight, the videos we've covered, as well as the games we've covered this past week, all of that and more, links and timestamps down below. We're going to start off with news this week, which is what we start off with news every week. We're going to start off with news every week, this week included, starting with something that's not board game focused, but I think it's worth sharing if it helps even one. Well, let's go ahead and share it. This is the honey scam. If you don't know about the honey influencer scam, I'm going to link down here to a video from Megalag, who is the one who broke the scam. A lot of people have covered it since then. If you watch other YouTube channels, you're probably familiar with this. But in case you're not, I want to share it because it kind of feels scummy. Like, it really, the very short version, I'm going to try to do the most shortest version of this I possibly can, is Honey is a browser extension you may have installed yourself. You might be actively using it. You might be using it because it theoretically is offering you an opportunity to quickly get whatever coupon codes you need. Boom, you're shopping on a site and immediately you find your 10% off coupon code. Great, it saves you money, doesn't hurt anyone, it's a win-win all around. Except it's not on two fronts. Seemingly, this is everything I'm going to say is from what's been uncovered so far. So, this is what's been uncovered so far, but the short version is the two ways it's really not helping anyone is, number one, is it specifically is stealing affiliate commissions from other people. Meaning, without going too much into it, I highly recommend watching the Megalag video if you can, but without going too much into it, if you go ahead and click to find a coupon, whether or not it finds your coupon, it takes the affiliate commission. So if you're following a creator, you click on an Amazon product or whatnot because you want to buy it, it pops it over to Honey. Honey says, well, it doesn't pop over to Honey. You go click on the Amazon link, you click on the Honey extension, which then will theoretically save you money. It says, oh, sorry, no coupons found. It still steals the affiliate commission from the creator. This is a big deal. There's a lot more to go into it. I'm trying to give you the quickest brief notes about it. That's so that on the one hand, it's hurting the creator. The way it's hurting you is it's also not even giving you the best coupon codes. It specifically customizes the coupon codes available to try to give you manageable coupon codes without giving you the best ones. Meaning Honey works with creators, not the YouTube creators, but rather the stores. Honey works with businesses to make sure that the offerings they have are not above their threshold. So there might be a 25% off coupon code out there, but Honey won't show it. It'll show you the 10% coupon off code to limit the amount you actually save. So it's not doing you a service as the consumer. It's not doing a service to creators. It's basically pocketing a whole lot of money themselves. This, I highly recommend you watch Megalag's video. This is a big thing, but if you are someone who uses Honey, if I can get one person to uninstall it because of what they're doing, I consider this entire news segment a win today. It's a big, I barely even use affiliates. Once in a while you have an affiliate link. This is not about me. This is about my almost shock at how blatantly bad this situation is. Anyways, and also, props to Markiplier for figuring this out 4 years ago. Anyways, moving on to, board game possible scams. Not scams, mismanagements, issues. So we have two to talk about over here. We have Blacklist Games. They issued a blog post, a fresh start for 2025 from Alex Lim over here. I'm not going to fully go into it. He talks about his plans for the company going forward, what they've done so far. He fully recognizes that no one will trust him and no one should trust him until he basically does what he needs to do, and that he expects to be scoffed and scorned along the way, but he's going to do what he needs to do. Again, the tricky part is you have to follow up with actually doing the things you need to do, but I thought, as far as posts go for such a problematic issue, I thought it was well done. It doesn't ask for forgiveness. It doesn't ask for understanding. It says, hey, here's the situation. Here's what I'm going to do. I understand you won't believe me. That's okay. And again, that's a great thing to say, but if you don't follow up on it, then it's just a great thing to say. But I did think it read very well. You can check that out. Over on Quodd Heroes, similarly, this actually happened a few weeks ago, but I haven't covered it yet. But Quodd Heroes, a game I'm a huge fan of, unfortunately basically kind of put out an update saying, hey, we don't have enough money for production. We're looking into our options. We don't know what's going on yet. But basically they kind of talked about how, hey, this is the situation. Things aren't moving the way they're supposed to, and we'll let you know more. A sucky situation all around. It's not great. I'm a huge fan of Quodd Heroes. I'm glad I have the first edition still as of right now, but we'll see what happens with this. I am still very hopeful because I really want it to be a second edition, and I want the creator to do well, and I want the backers to get what they backed. So we'll see what happens next with Quodd Heroes. Over on Stonemaier, we have Finspan. In case you missed it, I did a video this week about it, but in case you missed it, Finspan was announced. Finspan is the follow-up to Wormspan. He went into it over on his YouTube channel and Facebook. He talked about it already. He put out already a blog post about it. He's been talking about it. Jamie has been talking about it, and I'm sure he'll continue to do so, which he should. This is obviously going to be big news and probably will sell really well, although I don't know if it'll sell better or worse than Wormspan. That I'm very interested in. But again, I won't heavily go into it right now. You can check out the various, the articles, his own videos, or my video on it if you want to see more. There's also Everdell Silverfrost. Speaking of companies making more games in their popular lines, we have Starling Games putting out Everdell Silverfrost coming to Kickstarter soon. At some point, we'll talk more about it. But in case you want to know, we have Catan 6th edition. Basically, Catan is coming out with their 6th edition. So if you got used to your Catan 5th edition, how many years has that been out now? I don't know how many years it's been out, but we have Catan 6th edition to make some more small graphical changes, box size changes, things like that. Not really gameplay changes, but in case you are, I don't think you need to update your last edition. But if you are in the market for a new Catan, they have the newest iteration of it available. We also have from Board and Dice, we have Trismegistus and Teotihuacan both coming to crowdfunding. We have Trismegistus 2nd edition coming to Kickstarter, and Teotihuacan coming to GameFound with another reprint on the deluxe edition, and those are both coming to you from Board and Dice. And that is what we have for the news of the week, which brings us to our Creator Spotlight. For our Creator Spotlight, we are doing the Board Game Geek podcast this week. Candace does the Board Game Geek podcast. She's on episode 59. If you haven't started listening to this yet, and they do it both in video form and podcast form, but if you haven't started listening, I think they do it in video form. I know I've seen, maybe I don't know if they all, maybe not video form. I might be wrong with that. I think I have seen some in video form, but I could be wrong. But either way, Candace over here, she does this Board Game podcast. I think I first found it when I was listening to, oh my gosh, from Cole Worley, I believe. I thought it was a great episode over there, and that was the episode that hooked me on the podcast. But she's done a ton of episodes. Recent ones include Thinker Themer. I did one 2 weeks ago on adventure games. They have, they had a great one with Man vs. Meeple. Emily Man vs. Meeple did it. That's not what I'm looking for. There was one recently, the Sunova from Board Game Ramblings. Here we go. Board Games That Make Us Feel Creative with Matt Leacock. That was a great one. In general, I haven't listened to all of them yet, but I've listened to a whole bunch of them. And if you are looking for a great conversational podcast, this does a great job at covering a wide variety of topics. One of the things I really appreciate about the Board Game Geek podcast with Candace Harris is how wide she goes. There's not really a predicted format. It could be anything from a list of games, a genre of games, to something about the hobby. She usually has a special guest, and then she talks about something that's totally different each and every week, which is one of the reasons I recommend it, because you won't get bored. It's always something different, and that's always something that will keep your interest in the show active and going on and all of that. So anyways, the Board Game Geek podcast from Candace Harris, definitely recommend checking it out if you haven't already, and that is our Creator Spotlight, which brings us to the Week in Review. The Week in Review, starting off with the schedule. The videos I've covered this past week, we had the Top 100 breakdown on Sunday. Sunday I did a breakdown video of the Top 100. It's something I try to do every year, where I go over all the games that went up, the games that left, the games that get added, the games that shifted, the games that have the highest average over time. This year I did a new feature, my formulaic score over the past 5 years, which is slightly different than the average score over the past 5 years, but helps account for newer games to the list. Either way, you can go ahead and check that out if you want a breakdown of the top 100 games of 2024 as of all time. Well, top 100 games of all time as of 2024. I also did the most anticipated campaign games, my top 10 most anticipated campaign games for 2025, at least as of what's currently out there as of right now. There's a whole bunch of games, some that I'm very interested in, some not so much, but if you want to check out those, you can check out Monday's video. On Wednesday, we did a Level Up announcement. If in case you missed it, Level Up Retreat is going to be happening fairly shortly, and so we're doing the last final calls of all the various people who might want to get in it. You can go ahead and buy a ticket to Level Up Retreat if you want to come play games with us and all the other things. You can watch that video if you want the full breakdown on that. There's also the weekly live went up on Thursday. Once again, we are continuing the organizing of my game shelves over here. So basically, Meg entertained chat while I organized my game shelves, which we did last week, and probably going to do again one more. I think I need one more to continuously. I'm at the point now where I'm rearranging the cubbies to try to get the cubbies where I want. I've done the individual cubbies. I'm pretty happy with them, but I still have some tweaks and changes I'm trying to do, and I think I may have earned myself a full Calyx back just through the process of organizing, which is what I love about properly organizing your shelves. It's starting to feel like since I've moved here, I've never properly done an organization. I kind of put things out, I got them to a place I was happy enough with, and then I just continued to catch up on all the things I was falling behind on. But I think for the first time, I'm feeling like I'm actually kind of happy with where the shelves are going. I used to be very happy with where everything was, but now I'm feeling happier with where the things are. Anyways, past that, we had the Friday's video. Friday's video was, does anyone actually need another Wingspan game or something like that? It might have been called, do we need another Span game? I don't remember the exact title, but it was along the lines of covering the Wingspan and Finspan and Wormspan and all that. The basic idea is I saw a lot of people on a lot of people on social media who were either memeing or upset or any number of different things about the fact that Stonemaier Games is making another Span game, and I think that's somewhat silly. I don't think this is without argument at all, but I think given the amount of games that have so many different iterations, and the fact that you have Wingspan, which has 3 iterations, Wingspan, Wormspan, and Finspan, Finspan. I think that there is a whole lot of ado about nothing in this, and I kind of cover that in the video. I'm not saying that you have no reason whatsoever to have an opinion. You always have a reason to have an opinion. You're welcome to an opinion. We're all welcome to our opinions. But rather, I do think that I think we need to differentiate when our opinions are actually focused on the greater good versus when they're focused on an emotional reaction that doesn't really help anyone and just serves to deprive others. A good example of this, I was having this conversation. Here's a random tangent for you. I was having a conversation with my daughter where, what even happened? What was it? I said, oh, they're making another Snow White. Have you seen the new Snow White trailer? And she's like, oh, there's a new Snow White trailer? I'm like, yeah, they're doing a live action remake. And she said, oh. Oh, wait, maybe it was Moana. It was Moana, not Snow White. Snow White came later. I was talking about Moana and how Moana they're doing a live action Moana. And she's like, oh, why? They're ruining Moana. And I said, why? Like I told my daughter, I was like, what do you mean they're ruining Moana? And she's like, well, they're not good. And I was like, well, okay, but how many live action remakes have you seen from Disney? And we went over it, and well, we've seen most of them. I think we've seen all of them. And she's enjoyed Maleficent, which is arguably a retelling, not just a remake. She's enjoyed Maleficent. She loved Beauty and the Beast. She liked Aladdin a lot. And then the other ones, I think Lion King we didn't care for, but like, you know, there was some we didn't care for, some she enjoyed, and some she really liked. And I was like, and how many of them, which one of those live action remakes actively ruined your enjoyment of the original? And she's like, none of them. I was like, okay, then why is it such a bad news that they're remaking that they're doing a remake, a live action remake, when you sometimes have enjoyed them, sometimes have been okay with them, sometimes have not cared for them, but not once have they ever made anything worse. It hasn't ruined the enjoyment of the original. And I was like, I think you're feeding into, because the conversation I was having with her, the point I was trying to make is she was feeding into that negativity culture of, oh, they're ruining this, they're ruining this genre, they're ruining D&D, they're ruining Disney, they're ruining Star Wars, they're ruining everything you've come to love. And they're not. They're making things for people who seem to want those things. They're learning and adapting based on audience feedback, or they're not, but you never have to watch something you're not interested in. You never have to play something you're not interested in. Like, there's often an emotional outcry about how someone else is ruining that thing you love when they're really not ruining that thing that you love. They could have not made it and you would have had no complaints. So if they make it and you don't like it, that's okay. Just don't like it. It doesn't mean that they're ruining things. Now, someone did make an argument in the comments about Finspan, which I agree with the point. I just don't think it's relevant to board game space. Their point was that there's a concern that when too much focus is on remakes of things that are popular, then you'll lose the spark of creativity. You won't be creating new things. You'll just be continuously going to remakes and reproductions and reprints and live editions and all these things, like where the movie industry is to an extent, where you do see that a lot of the big blockbusters are either IPs or remakes, and there's less and less original stuff out there. There's not original stuff, but there is less original stuff than there used to be. And so to that point, I understand where they're coming from of, if the frustration is that, yet again, time, effort, and energy is being spent on something that's just a cash-in, as opposed to something original and interesting, so I understand that argument. I think in the board game space, we don't have to worry about that. There's a variety of reasons. This is a much longer conversation, but I think a big part of it is, this is a much longer conversation about this one video, but I think a big part of it is that in the board game space, the cost to make a board game, the barrier to entry is so low, we don't have to worry about creativity going anywhere. Versus the cost to make a blockbuster movie is hundreds of millions of dollars, and so creativity has a cost. If you invest in something that doesn't have a degree of inherent success. Any Disney TV show or movie has a degree of inherent success. Like it or not, people are going to watch it because it's part of that IP. A lot of people, not everyone will, but a lot will. And so investing in inherent success when things cost that much makes more sense. For Stonemaier Games to put out a game that's not Wormspan, or not Wingspan, not Finspan, isn't that costly. And there's so many others who are creating constantly. And so I don't think you have the same barriers to entry that forces the publisher to invest in something that is a guaranteed success, if that makes sense. So I don't think we have to worry about that in the board game space. Anyways, with that, let's talk about the games we covered this past week. For the games we covered, first of all, we have Nekojima. I did a review for Nekojima. I thought it was an okay balancing game where a lot of the charm is in the theme, but the actual gameplay I thought was good, not necessarily great. There's Mistborn, the deck building game. I gave it a 3 out of 5. I gave the solo mode a 3.5. I gave the game a 3 out of 5. I thought the Mistborn deck building game was okay. Nothing wrong with it, but definitely not one that, especially considering the publisher, the theme, and the designer, I personally wanted more from it. I just think that it didn't do anything that I thought was interesting or new past the burning of metals, which I thought was fiddly. So the one thing it did that was new, I thought was more fiddly than what I typically want out of a deck builder. So it's not bad. It's just, I think it's a game that would have done a lot better 10 years ago, and I think right now it's just okay. We also had a teach of Unconscious Mind. We had an Unconscious Mind How to Play by Asaf Hirsch from Easy Board Games. We're going to be working with Asaf on a variety of how to plays that are coming to the channel. I don't know exactly how frequently, but I'd say like once every 2 weeks or so, you should expect to see a how to play from Asaf. If there are specific videos you would like how to plays on, by all means, post them in the comments, because I leave a lot of this up to Asaf as far as what he wants to do, and he might listen to your suggestions. Past that, we also had 4 party game reviews, all from the op. There was Wonka, which I definitely did not like at all. I thought it did nothing interesting. There was Da Da Da, which I thought was incredibly clever and interesting. It's not my favorite party game, but it definitely impressed me with how different it was, and I've enjoyed it. There was, oh my gosh, Tapple After Dark, which is Tapple, which I like, and After Dark, which, again, I'm not even averse to After Dark themes, but I want to be a bit more clever. This feels like it's just a way to sell another version of Tapple. So I like Tapple. After Dark's kind of just okay. And then lastly, what was the last one? Why am I blanking? Oh, Blank Slate Challenge, if I'm not mistaken. Blank Slate Challenge, which is a matching game. I think it's a fun game. I don't think it's the best game. I think it's a fun, enjoyable party game. Anyways, we had later from there, we had Foxpaw. I reviewed Foxpaw from Godot Games. They have an active game found campaign. I think Foxpaw is a good game, but I think a lot of the main reasons to get it are probably the theme. Meaning, as a game, it's a good worker placement game that I enjoy. It's not one that amazed me or wowed me. The thing that stands out about it is the theme, which again, it's just a different. If people want a Harry Potter themed worker placement game, it definitely leans into that. I didn't love the art in general. The art, well, that's not true. I didn't mind the art itself. I didn't love the mix match of various art styles. I believe they used AI in that, and it kind of, like, especially the characters, you can see it's got more of that anime approach. I don't know how much of that will be final, but that's my overall. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. I like parts of it, but it's you're definitely there for the theme. There's Wondrous Creatures. Wondrous Creatures I gave a 4.5 out of 5. I love Wondrous Creatures. I thought it was excellent. I've played it several times. I hope to play it more. It's just a good game that I'm enjoying a lot. And then lastly, there's Iron Core. This is a sponsored preview and playthrough. We had the playthrough this week. I think we had the preview last week. But Iron Core, it's a post-apocalyptic not 4X, it's a sandbox post-apocalyptic game that I enjoyed. I don't think I love it. I think it's a little bit too fiddly in a few ways, particularly in the amount of symbology there is, but a lot of parts of the game were definitely satisfying, especially the way you build your ship, and you can upgrade your ship with a ton of different, as you go to different locations, you can gather various things that will help you upgrade and augment your ship. The tricky part about it is that very often there's almost a desire to camp at the same place, because there's a lot you can get done in the same place before moving on. So the two issues I had with it is that there was a little bit more camping than I would ideally like at the same location, and less incentive to move as I would like, and then moving off, it takes up an entire action, which is not great either. And then secondly, there was lots of iconography, lots of looking things up. But outside of that, it was enjoyable. Just those are my main concerns with it. And those are the games we covered this past week. Which brings us to today. Today we'll have a few things. We're going to have our giveaway winners going up today for the channel giveaway. Those are going to be going up later today, as well as a review for Isle of Cats Duel will be going up too. Next week we'll have a few things. We'll have our games added for the month of January, and we'll also be having my ranking of campaign games, which I think I've been telling you is coming for like 2 weeks straight now, and things have been constantly pushed off and rearranged, and I'm sorry. I really hope it goes up this week. As far as the games on the couch, which not the couches, this is a foof from Buy Big Joe. No affiliate links down below, because Honey would steal it anyway. Also because I don't have an affiliate link with them. But anyways, as far as the games on the floor that I will grab and show you, a few of the games I hope to be playing this week. We have Beacon Patrol, which I still haven't played the expansion. I've been wanting to for a while, and I haven't played the expansion. It's all in this box, but I hope to get to that soon, because I like Beacon Patrol, and I want to play the expansion, and then cover them both. Also have AI Apocalypse over here, which is a auto battler game that I hope to dive into. Both of these are solo friendly. They are co-op, I think this is competitive and solo friendly, and this is cooperative and solo friendly. Then this one, I don't remember if I talked about it last week, but Hearts of Iron, I was hoping to table it this past week. I have not, but we'll be tabling it this week, so if you expect coverage from this one soon, that will be happening. And then Monday's game night is going to be Minos, Dawn of the Bronze Age, which I finally will be tabling. I've been trying to table this for a few weeks, and it should be happening this week. I've been looking forward to this one a lot. I've heard mostly good things about it. Not like as much as I've been hearing mostly good things. We'll wait and find out as far as my own thoughts and opinions on it. And those are the games I hope to be playing this week. And that's basically your news and week in review. Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.